Thank you, Mr. President. Adelaide has officially cracked the top 10 most livable cities in the world, this time claiming 9th place on the Economist Intelligence Unit's 2025 Global Liveability Index. We've seen a dramatic climb, Mr. President, from 30th place in 2022 to 11th last year and now 9th. According to the EIU, Adelaide scored an impressive 95.9% overall, with only slightly lower marks in the category of culture and environment compared to Melbourne and Sydney. And I think all of us who live in the Greater Adelaide area can agree that we are very lucky. We're very fortunate to call our beautiful city home. And while I don't want to be the one to crash the government celebration, because yes, it's a good headline, and yes, we do love this city, that livability might mean very different things depending on who you ask. In fact, it means different things for many people in South Australia. Because while Adelaide might look fantastic in articles by prestigious news organisations listing the world's most livable cities, as we know, it's a very different story on the ground. The continued appearance of Adelaide on influential lists such as the EIU Global Liveability Index and the applause such a feature generates points to a paradox in terms of how we assess the health of our state. Try telling our ranking to the mum who has advised that she's living in a tent because her disabled child couldn't get priority for public housing, or to the thousands waiting for access to public health care, or to the young people and families who are working but have been priced out of rentals, home ownership and basic living expenses. A city isn't truly livable, Acting President, if your postcode determines your access to a GP. It's not livable if your rent, if you can afford to rent, absorbs more than half your income, and it's certainly not livable if people are left behind by systems that should protect them. Livability should mean the freedom to thrive, not just for the fortunate, but for everyone. And whilst our leaders in Parliament toast their champagne flutes for cracking the top 10, there exists an abundance of crises that just don't touch their lives. They touch the lives of Adelaide's most vulnerable. Data from SA Health's July 2024 drug in Adelaide monitored by Wastewater Analysis Project, commissioned by Drug and Alcohol Services South Australia, DASA, reveals some trends seemingly contrary to the paradise narrative that we've heard about. The highest average nicotine since 2017, highest methamphetamine level use since 2017, MDMA highest since 2020, cocaine highest since the report began, cannabis highest since the report began, ketamine a sharp increase in use, and an increase in the use of fentanyl. This whilst crime at the heart of the city continues unabated. How livable is a city if you can't walk down the mall without seeing crime? And I have put together what I call a tale of Alice's stories. She works in the mall. She's worked there for years, and every day when she gets home, she rings me and tells me what happened in the mall today. And it's an ugly picture that confronts workers who are in Rundle Mall each and every day. And this idea that this is only happening out in our lower socio-economic areas, far north and far south and wherever in between, is very misplaced. Last week, I visited a number of households in the Port Adelaide area where people were living desperately below the poverty line. And it was a sad day, Acting President, to see the sorts of issues that people are dealing with on a daily basis. And it's a confronting one that we don't take into account when we look at things like livability index. Cost of living expenses as well as rental and housing rates have skyrocketed. We know economic pressures are hitting everybody. And you try asking someone who's sleeping rough on the streets of Adelaide what their thoughts of our city placement on that index is, and I think it's very different to the one we hear celebrated in here so often. It's a livability, I think, being assessed here that's very loose in terms of its use of the word livable. Acting President, I could go on and on and on and list the factors impacting livability in this state, but I'll end by saying that we need to get real